For a while now, Star Citizen ships have let you swap out different components with a view to customizing the performance of your ship to how you like it. But as with anything that offers you a choice, how do you know what to choose? I'm Forrester, and this video will help you with that quandary. This channel is all about giving you useful or interesting videos around simulation type games, including Star Citizen. If you're new here, you might consider subscribing so you can be notified when new Star Citizen videos, such as tutorials, ship reviews, or location spotlights, go live. And as always, what this video will cover is the here and now, what's currently in-game. There is a lot of potential in the pipeline for the future of ship components, tweaking, overclocking and the likes, which may or may not come to pass. So for simplicity, this video will purely cover the current in-game implementation. Firstly, there's an absolutely excellent internet tool at aircool.games, which started as a DPS calculator but now holds a wealth of information about various components. The site uses data extracted from the game to help you compare loadouts and even tells you where to go to buy components in-game. Many Star Citizen players use this site to plan their own loadout, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Secondly, components include both a class and a grade. The component class gives an indication as to how the developers would expect a component to be used, and whilst the stats are somewhat aligned to that, it's not a hard and fast rule that you have to follow. The grade, A through D, gives a general feel for the quality of a component, with grade A components generally performing the best, and grade D components generally performing the worst. Another general rule to be aware of is that most components are size limited, so you can replace a size 2 with another size 2, but not a size 3 or a size 1 in that slot, although there are sometimes exceptions to this rule. If you're playing a stealth build, you may also want to pay attention to the impact on your ship's signature for each component too, as the more power you use, the more potential heat or electromagnetic signature you create. Alright, let's start by discussing shield generators. The primary stats on a shield generator are the pool hit points, which is how powerful the defensive shield is, and the regeneration, which is how quickly it replenishes to full hit points. In the current patch, the distinction between shields is more in line with the grade of the shield generator rather than the class they're in, but historically, industrial shields often had the biggest health pool, with military shields giving a balance between overall health pool and shield regeneration. So depending on the patch you're playing on, you may want to pay attention to the interplay between those two elements. Coolers will help dissipate the heat generated by your components, particularly those with a high power draw. There are two key stats on a cooler. The first is the cooling rate, that's how quickly the cooler can dissipate heat when it's at full capacity, and the second is power request time, which essentially is how quickly the cooler can get to full capacity. Usually the cooling rate is what you'll want to go for, although if you're only performing small spikes of power rather than a sustained rate, sometimes a slightly lower capacity but faster draw time might be preferable. Power plants follow in the same vein as coolers. They have a statistic which determines how much power they can output at maximum flow, and a power request time, which is how quickly they can get up to that level of performance. This is one area where selecting stealth components makes a really big difference, considerably reducing the power available in some instances, but that will also considerably reduce the detectability of your ship. And finally, quantum drives, a particular interest of mine. These have a few different stats. The primary stats are speed, or literally how fast the drive gets you from A to B, and efficiency, how much fuel you consume doing so. Notably, there are also different spool-up times for different drives. These different considerations probably make this one of the most personal choices you can make, as you may, like me, prefer to prioritise speed over everything else for long trips, or alternatively, you may prefer to travel slower but be able to travel further and for less money. Or you may select a quantum drive purely on how quickly it can spool up and get you away from trouble. For the most part, the components you select won't drastically change the behaviour of your ship. There are some ships where making small changes can feel like they have a bigger impact, but mostly you'll just be giving your own flavour to your ship. It's worth adding that some components are cheaper than others too, so especially if you have a larger craft, you might need to consider whether min-maxing is really worth it for you. Hopefully this has been a useful little introduction into how some of the ship components work in Star Citizen 3.16. If you've got any other suggestions or top tips, please share them in the comments, and press that like button if you found this video helpful, as it helps me to tailor my videos to what you're enjoying the most. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed, and as ever, thank you for watching.